Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joppy Noodle Legs here today. Today I've got another film review for you for the Noodle Leg film reviews. And today we're looking at Atoll K, um, starring Stan Law and Oliver Hardy. So this release here is the BFI release, Blu-ray release. It contains two discs. It obviously has the Blu-ray and it has the DVD. It also contains a booklet which talks to you a little bit about the film and also a little bit about the tour of the UK and stuff like that, because they was out on tour um, during the sort of time this sort of film was made. They were in Europe. This is in fact their last ever film uh, that they made, because Stan Law was extremely ill, and it was the last film that they ever made. So I told Kay the synopsis. Okay, so Stan Laurel inherits some money, an island, and a yacht. So they decide to take off to this island, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, to live there. Obviously, because they own the island, they can live there for free, whatever they want to do. So they decide to do that. They meet a couple of other chaps on the way, an Italian guy who's like an architect, who's good at building, and another chap that belongs to no country. He's sort of like stuck on this boat, and he's not allowed off the boat because he's not got a passport. He's not allowed in any sort of country. So he tags along with them. So the four of them go off to this island and start living there. And obviously, the Italian guy builds some places to live. So they start living there. As that's happening, there's another little sub story going on with this woman and her lieutenant, who's a lieutenant of a naval sort of ship, having a relationship, and they're having a bit of a fallout and disagreement, and they're both being stubborn. So she decides to go off on a boat with a different chap and a crew, just to sail away to get away from it all. Now, the wife of the guy of that ship isn't happy that she's on board and decides that she's getting off at the next island, and it happens to be their island. Okay, so she then joins them on this island. So you've got the four chaps and this woman all living there on the island, becoming friends, um, and living that sort of life. And it's like they've got no worries, no bills, no taxes, anything. They're just living there um, for free, I suppose. And then another group of sort of like another boat arrives with people on board and try and say, well, this island doesn't belong to anybody. It's, they've got to confirm what government it belongs to and all this sort of thing. So Oliver Hardy then decides to create his own government on the island, self-appointed president, and the island has some rules. The rules are that there's no rules, there's no money, there is no taxes, everything is sort of free. So that attracts thousands of people to come and live on this island. So then they're joined by boats and ships and all sorts of people arriving to live on this island with them. This island apparently appeared out of nowhere. Um, so anyway, so they're all living on this island. But as you know, being human beings, when you get lots of human beings together, you're going to get some bad ones. And there was a couple of bad guys on this one, and they tend to take over the island and have like a mutiny. So they lock up Stan Laurel, Oliver Hardy, and the other two guys that are with them, the Italian chap and the other guy, Anton. They all get locked up uh, because they're going to be hanged, because one of the bad guys has declared himself the new president. So that's that's what's happening. And the woman that's on the island sort of goes along with the bad guy for a little while, but that's a little bit of the plan, I think, for her to sort of like get rid of the bad guy. That's the premise of the story. And then once they're on, before they get hanged, they sort of escape from the jail. Um, and the woman accidentally knocks them all out, all four of them, thinking it was somebody else, but knocks them out. So they get recaptured. She makes a call to her lieutenant of the navy to come and help. He turns up, and when he turns up, the actual island that they're on have sunk It's just sunk. I suppose everybody on the island's died. It's not made clear. It's just that the whole island just sank, and all that's left is like a wooden sort of board with Lauren, Stan, and Ollie, the other two guys, and the woman, and some gallows that they were going to be hung at. So they all get rescued, and then there's another like sort of bit of a story that goes on at the end of it. So I won't say it in case you've not seen it. And that is the story of Atoll K. What do I think of the film? The film, it's difficult to talk about for a number of reasons. One, it's really not like a Law and Hardy film. Yes, it does have some slapstick in there. Not a lot. There is some, and there are some sort of funny jokes, but it's not many. It's a comedy, but it's got like a serious sort of overtone to it. Um, this was produced by I think a German company. I think actually produced the film because they couldn't get funding. I think at the time in the country, then Law and Hardy had sort of not fallen out of you know. I just think they were sort of bygones, if you like, and they weren't as popular as they were back in the day, when they were making the their popular shorts and their movies, and because they had left the companies all over money, of course, um, that they made a few films that Stan wrote, which were really good. But then they went on tour around Europe and around uh, England, UK, and they decided to get this film funded, to make this film, and it turned out to be the last film that they made. Um, the other difficult thing about this film is Stan. He looks really ill. He looks really gaunt. He's got no cheekbone. It's just cheekbones. That's it. He's so slim and skinny. He looks so different. He looks so ill in this film, and that's really hard to see from someone that you've looked up to, and someone who's one of your heroes. So that's hard to see one of your heroes looking that. So that makes the film a little bit of a difficult watch. Um, the pluses of the film. Now, this actual Blu-ray production is a really good transfer of the film. It looks really cool. Looks really nice, and there's nice black and whites in there, which is really cool. Uh, it's a historically important film because it was their last film. Um, and the story is actually quite a good story. It's a good story, it's a good premise, but it's not a Law and Hardy film. It's not got the Law and Hardy classic humour, that we all love and know, that they did in all their movies and shorts. But it's still Law and Hardy, and it's still got it's still got some charm to it. It's still got the charming mannerisms of Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel's sort of sort of thickle personality still there, and it still shows that in some of the jokes and some of the one-liners. And like I said, there is some little bits of slapstick in there. The negatives is pretty much it doesn't feel like a Law and Hardy film. It feels like another film, but just starring Law and Hardy. Um, and I think that's that. I think you could be disappointed by you're watching it thinking, oh, this is going to be awesome. Law and Hardy, it's their last ever film. It's going to be great. But it hasn't got that final curtain, if you know what I mean. Like if it's their last film, you expect it to be going out with a bang, and it doesn't. So that's a shame. Um, but it is what it is, and it's great that they've actually made it. And it's like I say, historically it's an important film of their film because it's their last ever film. Stan became very ill, and I don't think too long that we lost Stan after his illness. So I'm going to put this down as a um, a good watch, a historical watch. It's something you must sort of watch um, if you're a fan of Laurel and Hardy. So I'm not going to score it because I can't. Um, because I can score it, but on two different ways. As a Laurel and Hardy fan, I would score it quite high because of its importance. But as a film fan, I would score it lower because it just lacks some things in it. So I'm not going to put my heroes through that. But yeah, it's amazing to have this. In the UK, when this got released, I believe it was released under the title of Utopia. Um, yeah, but somewhere else, I think it was released under Crusoe Land. Crusoe Land was the name of the island that they called it because the rest of the world called it Atoll K, but they created their own government and they said, no, it's going to be Crusoe Land. So yeah, so it's quite cool. And when all the people move to the island, the film just moves at such a fast rate. It's like you don't get to know any people living on the island or any characters, and it's just yeah, yeah. That's all I can say about it, really. But I would, if you are a fan of Laurel and Hardy, you have to watch it because it's historically important to Laurel and Hardy fans. If you're not such a Laurel and Hardy fan, this may not be for you. There again, it might be because if you didn't like Laurel and Hardy, didn't like their humour, you might like this more because it's not that sort of slapstick sort of film. There is some in there, but not a lot. That's my review on this film. Anyway, guys, um, check it out. I mean, just check it out. Go and check out a few channels as well if you like. There's Horror Hands. Please check out his channel. Please go and check out the Horror Geek Man v Film, Sarah of Horror and Horror in Todge, and my dear friend Russell of RS Designs. Please go and check his channel out. Until next time, guys, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.